what is indigeneity? आप लोग, this huge discussion that the constitution is foreign, we need an indigenous constitution, we need a Bharatiya constitution. Constitution is based on the Government of India Act, which is 1935, brought in by the British. So we need an indigenous constitution. हमें भारतीय constitution चाहिए, हमें Indic constitution चाहिए. मगर indigeneity क्या है? And what is indigenous? Do you want to really go back 5,000 years? Was everything 5,000 years back good? And मैं serious बात कर रहा हूँ. Okay, because I think I'm engaging with you on a serious level. ये स्वामी विवेकानंद जी, उनसे बड़ा नेशनलिस्ट तो मैं किसी को मानता नहीं हूँ. As in, great nationalist. स्वामी विवेकानंद जी भी वही कहते हैं कि not everything in your past is good. Never be under that impression. There were things which are bad which need to be discarded. He says that. I'm not saying it. So you will have to realize that there were things which are great about our civilizational identity. And we are all very proud of it. And we should be. We should use them as inspiration to way we run our country, way we run our state. But not everything was good. So you have to realize that what is indigeneity. The second is, can you have this seriously, this question? And this is what I was speaking to Sitich with. Can you seriously think that you're going to run a state in the modern world as we exist today based on principles of 5,000 or even 500 or 700 or even 1,200 years old? Can you seriously run a state? Think about when you have a constitution, fundamental rights, fundamental duties is only a small part of the constitution. Can you seriously think that you will run a state without a civil service? Can you seriously think that you will run a state without a standing army? Can you seriously think that you will run a state which will have interstate trade or inter-area trade throughout the same country and have an infrastructure which will be based on principles which are possibly 5,000 years old? You can be inspired by them, and you should be inspired by them. But you cannot have, and that is a fundamental mistake which we make, and there is a very famous English line on that. So you cannot go back home. आप घर लौट जा नहीं सकते. You have left. और एक बहुत मशहूर लाइन है, I don't know, Kshitij sir may know, which says that the past is a different country. They do things differently there. I am not saying that you will not be inspired by the civilizational background. And Swamiji was very clear that you have to be inspired by the background, your civilizational understandings of the world in case you want to create a new India. और ज़रूरत है. मगर you also have to understand what is this when you are talking about new India, what do you mean? Two, and something which is very important. You are now talking about creating a state and a modern state which will take care of all its citizens in this country, which will benefit all its citizens in this country. Naturally, you want to become India, or Bharat wants to, you will become Vishwaguru. If you want to become Vishwaguru, if you want to create a new India, as Swamiji said, this new India will have to be forward-looking, will have to necessarily face the challenges of the future. And I will remind you, when Kautilya wrote his Arthashastra, he did not think about what is happening in the past. He took inspiration from the past. And he refers that a number of times in his book. But he said, I am framing the governance structure of the future. So if you have to have a model, you will have to prepare for the next 5,000 years, next 500 years. So this indigeneity which you speak about will have to take into concerns of every citizens, and for the better word to be the platform on which new India is built. There is a very serious, and I'm saying this seriously, and don't get me wrong, I don't decry them, I don't think they're any less, I give them all intellectual space as they should be given. There is a line of thinking, and I don't know how many of you read Hind Swaraj. Have you read Hind Swaraj? Mahatma Gandhi's Hind Swaraj? There is a line of thinking paralleling Hind Swaraj. Hind Swaraj is one of them, which says any Western civilizational input in India is bad and has to be rolled back. And Mahatma Gandhi writes in that book, I don't know how many of you read it, saying hospitals are bad, railways are bad, any machinery's use is bad. Because whatever minimal machinery is required has to be. He even thought that charkha was a machine. Someone pointed out to him that charkha was a machine. But he was of the view that everything was bad. Medicine was bad. But do you seriously think that is possible? I personally think, my take on it is, there was a discussion between Gandhians and the editors of Prabuddha Bharat. I don't know how many of you know Prabuddha Bharat was the journal which was published by the disciples of Swami Vivekananda from Advaita Ashram in Mayavati. So there was this discussion, and the editors of this discussion was in relation to technology. And I think Swamiji was very correct in his perception where he said that you have to create an India which is sarvavyapi, which concerns everyone, but more importantly, be based and take advantage of technology and materialism of the present so as to improve the lot of your people. You know that famous statement of Swamiji, which is, you cannot give spirituality on an empty stomach.